Sam, what is up? Can you hear me?
I had to unmute
Can you hear?
myself. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, going good. Going good. How's it going for you?
A little snowy up here.
Where are you at?
I'm in Lyndhurst, which is uh, by Beechwood, if you know where that's at.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked before, haven't we, Sam?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
There you are. Yep, yep.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's well, all the snow's melted here by now, but it's
Yeah.
coming down a little bit.
Yeah, we still
So
got about 2 or 3 inches last night.
yeah, yeah. Just par for the course for Ohio. Get your grass mowed before the snow shows
Right?
up, right?
Yeah, last Thursday I was cutting my grass in shorts.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. So what's going on? How can I help you? What are you working on?
well, I haven't really done much the past couple of weeks. I mean, I work full time.
Okay.
But one thing I wanted to see was how to how do you put pixels like Facebook pixels on there?
Okay. Like into the
And
landing pages?
I learned something about a lead code yesterday. I wasn't even aware of that.
A lead code with
Yeah,
Facebook?
yeah, on Facebook, and
Okay.
I
Yeah.
wasn't sure where to put these.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll just share my screen with you. Um,
Yeah, I apologize. I'm also working right now. I work 10:30 to 7:30, so I don't get a lunch until 3:30. So I try to get on these as much as I can.
yeah. Yeah. That's no problem. What do you? So you're working full time. What business does this serve for you? Like, is this
I
like a
well, I
side
want to
business?
I want to do social media marketing, Facebook ads.
Okay.
I want to run them for massage
Okay.
salons and therapy because nobody's even got pixels going.
Yeah.
Don't steal my idea though.
Yeah. No. No worries. Yeah. So okay. So a little token of advice to you on med spas. I know a guy that does med spas exclusively and
Oh,
like just does an insane job. Like is absolutely crushing it. Um, and we are going to have something here soon. I was actually on a call with Zach this morning. That's going to help like book appointments and stuff. So it'll have calendar integrated and stuff. And this guy, what he does is he sells appointments. So he'll sell, uh, so not just the leads, but the appointment. So when the appointment is confirmed, he charges X per appointment. And the system that we're going to be implementing uh, here, I might be letting the cat out of the bag a little early, but it is what it is. Uh, it will it will do that. So we basically kind of took this model and made it our own with our own little tweaks and stuff like that. But yeah, med spas, uh, you can absolutely crush it with med spas. And so with our system, what you can do there's two things. You can run a Facebook lead ad and get that contact into our system for the follow up. Which if you're running lead ads, you have to do that. You have to. If you don't run text follow up, at least text follow up to lead ads, they're completely junk. Like uh, you'll have a hard time converting any of them. The second thing would be running them to a landing page. Which if they're going through the effort to go to a landing page, they're automatically going to be a little more interested. So back to your question in tagging. Um, in tagging, you're going to go to um, your landing page and you would just put the uh, code in right here. So you're going to put your Facebook pixel right here and right here, and then after your pixel is going to take up, you know, so much of this whatever. The event, so the lead event or the registration complete event, you're going to paste that under the pixel.
Okay.
So basically with Facebook, you're going to go in. You're going to go in. Someone else is trying to get in. Linda.
See, somebody told me the lead code went on the thank you page.
Yeah. So yes, the okay. So with Facebook, what you want to do, and Facebook has changed a lot. So I don't know where you're getting the training on Facebook, but for me, Facebook has changed like unbelievably in the last just like 4 months. So like beginning of the year, it has been just an unbelievable burdening change. But for the most part, your conversion event needs to be on your thank you page. So you register a conversion on that thank you page. Then what you do is you create a lookalike audience on that conversion page. So anybody that visits that URL, you create a lookalike on that audience. Then after you get so much traffic going through, then all you do is you run a conversion campaign that says, okay, Facebook, like find me more of this person that's converting. And that's when Facebook becomes like exactly what you want it to be. So, but getting to that point, you can run and you can split test depending on your budget. You can run like a landing page views campaign or even a traffic campaign. But if you go straight to the conversion campaign, it really depends on your budget. A lot of times, the performance is so. So because it doesn't really know like who's going through there. It's kind of like shooting an arrow into like the abyss because it doesn't really know what target to look for. So we've done, and I've actually written a Facebook like course on like all this kind of stuff, but it has changed so much in the last 3-4 months that like I'm like I don't want to. It's different. So like it's kind of like trying to hit a moving target. The principles are still there. Like the Facebook algorithm is what it is. Like that doesn't change. But the methods, at least in the setup and all that kind of stuff, has changed significantly in the last couple months. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
that's probably why I'm getting confused a lot.
Yeah.
Because I took some courses and then I'm hearing something different.
Yeah.
And I haven't done anything yet, but collect emails and things like that. And I want to run videos and for prospecting and saying, well, you don't have a pixel on here, and here's why it's important.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So that for prospecting, like that is a great way to do that. And you can download like Pixel Helper on Chrome and just show people like, look, you don't even have a pixel on your site, therefore you're not tracking all this kind of stuff. And then what you can do is like having just even a basic understanding of Facebook and Facebook ads, you can go to them and say things like you don't even know who you're targeting. Like we can set up a pixel on your site to where it's like, okay, these people are booking an appointment. Like, don't you want more of those people booking an appointment? If you let me put a Facebook pixel on your page, we can run ads specifically to that avatar. Angel's asking questions. Go to.
Right.
So that like as far as prospecting, that's very effective. And like understanding like the algorithm, if you have done any advertising on Facebook, the algorithm is very the principles are the same. If you have the foundation set Like you're gonna be just fine no matter what changes Facebook makes. It's just kind of conforming the ads and the setup, and like even now you have to verify the domains with a text record and like stuff like that. So it's been an insane hassle in the last 4 months, but the principles are going to be the same, if that makes sense. So you're going to set like your landing page. I would set like a view content event on your landing page, and then on your confirmation page, on your thank you page, is where you're going to set up your conversion event.
Okay, and you said put the pixel in the header and the footer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think the Facebook pixel is just a header code.
Okay.
But what you can do, and what we do is I'll go to Google Tag Manager, and I will place my Facebook pixel in Google Tag Manager. And so Google Tag Manager is just like a container. Actually, I think they call it containers. So you basically put your Facebook pixel in the Google Tag Manager container. So you only have to do that once. Then, anytime you create a new landing page or whatever, you just take that the Google Tag Manager code, and you put that in. So that way, like what you can do is you take your Google Analytics and your Facebook pixel, both of those things, and you put it into one Google Tag Manager container, and then you just take that container and copy paste it like on all your stuff. So it's less work. And then what you can do with Google Tag Manager is once you hit preview, it'll show, if you hit live preview, it'll show where that tag is installed and what events are firing. So that's a
It has what's called a preview mode.
Yeah.
So that when you click it and you go to the landing page, you've installed the pixel. It shows that the pixel 1 is installed, and 2, that the actual thing is firing on the page that you want it to. So it's really cool once you get used to Google Tag Manager, because it's a centralized place that you can install all your code. Like for example, like Hotjar. If you've ever used Hotjar before, Hotjar is like that software that like monitors like where your people are moving the mouse on the landing page, right? Rather than like manually adding code to each individual landing page, you can just trigger it from Google Tag Manager to fire off on all pages, and it'll automatically add that code to all the pages in your funnel. So it goes based on URL. So it's really robust once you get used to it. It's much easier to set up. And I think Facebook has, if you're connecting with your Facebook account, it has a native integration where you just got to click a button and it'll automatically connect to your Google Tag Manager account. You just got to make sure you have one before you do that, and then it'll find it. Just like when you use a software that connects to a Google account, like a Gmail, where it pops up that screen and you see all your Gmail accounts, same thing. Like it'll pop up a screen, it'll show your Google Tag Manager accounts, and you click the right one, and then it syncs that your account to that Google Tag Manager, and then bam, automatically does that for you. So it's super easy, and I'm sure you can easily find a YouTube video on it, walk you through it in a minute or two. But
it keeps
that's
things
the
pretty.
only way we set our pixels.
Yeah.
We don't set our pixels up anymore manually like they used to, before back in the day. Google Tag Manager is where it's at, because it also syncs with Google Ads, Google Ads, and then all the tracking with Google and all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Like our Google Tag Manager container has like 20 different tags in it. So rather than me going to our a landing page or our website or whatever and going to each one of those places and installing 20 different snippets of code in the header and footer of a site, you just grab that one Google Tag Manager thing, pop it in there, and it basically applies that list that you put inside the container. So it's the way things should be done, to be quite honest. So,
wow. Great. Thank you. I'm going to look a lot of that up.
Yeah.
I still got a lot of learning to do.
Yeah. Well, so we are going to be. So this kind of might be a little early, but what we're going to be doing, and part of what we're announcing today, like a lot of these basic things, we're going to be running through and giving you guys like videos on how to do this stuff right. So even with with Facebook and with Google and a lot of other things as well, you know, we will show you how to do all this kind of stuff in a very organized fashion. So it's not just like punching you in the face with like, well, you're doing this, but you should be doing this, should be doing that. It'll put it all in order. That way you can actually start seeing some production. Because like, dude, med spas, like, I don't know what you're doing for your day job, but like if you hit med spas right, like you'll be able to quit your day job like quickly. So if you're doing it right. So, and there is a right way to do it.
Wow.
With
I
med
sure
spas.
do appreciate that. I'm getting confused because I'm trying to learn from all these different places, and
Yeah.
all it's really doing is confusing me at this point.
Oh yeah.
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 And
It's called
and honestly,
information overload.
yeah, and like I said, like with Facebook and a lot of these courses that are out there and have been around for a long time on Facebook, like Facebook dropped a nuclear bomb on itself. Or actually, Apple dropped a nuclear bomb on itself beginning of the year, and like a lot of this training is like it doesn't work. Like especially if you're just now like getting into it, like business manager changes, like the format changes, the order of operations has changed a lot, and like that's honestly what's prevented us. Like I don't like I'll give you like I have no problem telling you exactly how the Facebook algorithm works, but for me to give you a step by step, do this, do this, do this, do this on something that they could change tomorrow, like it doesn't.
It gets outdated quick.
Yes, it's
every week
counterproductive.
something changes, and so for that, the best thing is to have like an ongoing network that's constantly in the ads manager running ads and actually using the platform effectively. That's who you want to surround yourself with, especially if you're trying to use Facebook as an avenue for your business or for your clients.
Yeah.
It's being around people using the platform, and have figured out these obstacles that literally arises to anybody, for everybody, but really it's there's very slim percentage that overcome the hump and keep continuously be productive. It's these algorithm changes and these changes in Facebook. I mean, it happened just maybe 2 months ago with our accounts when that big Apple update happened, right? That Apple update happened, and people, a lot of my personal buddies that are all also agency owners, right? Half of them lost half of their clients during that time because their ads stopped working. And
everything quit working.
It literally from one day to the other, everything is pumping. Great leads are coming through, making a lot of money, setting appointments, etc. And then from one day to the other, the Apple update happened. All right, the algorithm stopped working like it did yesterday. I'm sorry. That's what Facebook says. We are sorry for the inconvenience, but it is what it is. And that's all they kind of do. And they don't give you instruction on like how to pivot, how to adjust, how to adapt. They don't do that. And so, we're left to figure it out. And at the same time, we have people paying us to grow their business. And so it becomes a little bit frustrating. Thank God, we're a part of, we invest a lot of money also in ourselves, in our coaching, and our training to keep ourselves surrounded with people doing it bigger than we are, right? And so, I mean, same thing, right? And we do that for the fact that we're not left alone in the dark, kind of trying to do this on our own. We have other high-level individuals that we can bounce strategies off of and figuring out, because I mean that's what this is all about, right? We can't do this all on our own. That's why we do these calls, right? And that's why we do these public calls, because everyone can learn from each other, and that's really what this is all down. Because I mean, you make money, we make money. It's a win-win scenario, and might as well stick together on this if we're all doing the same type of business, right? It just doesn't make any sense to keep things on one end and not share it with you guys. So That's why we do it, and we're constantly learning. And like Jordan said, it would be it's a scam to tell you, hey, this is the best Facebook course, when in 2 weeks from now everything changes, and you just paid a grand or whatever on something that's now outdated a week later. And that's the difficult part about creating courses and things like that.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So there's also very important to think about here also too. There's also things that you want to focus on right now in your business versus other things, right? Because you shouldn't be thinking about the technical side of things until you've actually gotten some clients, right? So as in the technical side of things, you'll end up figuring it out no matter what. But once you have something paying you money, now you have actual resources, you have leverage to either hire out or buy software or whatever that is, right? Once you have a paying client. So a lot of people have it backwards where, they're thinking about fulfillment before even getting a client.
That's what I'm doing.
You see what I'm saying? And that's not going to pay the bills. Okay, you got fulfillment over here, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, but you got crickets. There's no one in your pipeline. You have no one to talk to. It's like, okay. And then your fulfillment team's waiting, and there's no clients. Now that's a whole nother skill set to focus on. You have to literally learn how to prospect. Prospecting is a different skill set than sales, which is a different skill set than fulfillment. So most people need to focus on the first dominant, which is prospecting, right? And using Funnelbolt for prospecting is very simple. You use the CRM and use a manual input, contact fields, and you keeping data on the conversations that you're having, keeping a pulse on their feedback, so you can reiterate, refine, improve your process, and close a deal. Once you got a deal closed, now we focus on the pixels and the holes because all that stuff isn't going to make you any money. You see what I mean? So it's like, and then like you said, you're consuming a lot of information.
Well, because I needed the confidence. I'm like, I can't sell something that I don't have the confidence to do. So that was kind of my theory, learn as much as you can.
For sure. And that's a good theory in a way, but the problem is that, okay, well how much is it going to cost you to go that route? Right? Not financially, but time.
Yeah.
Which is our most valuable asset, right? We don't have enough time in a day. So what happens is, if we're focused on all this stuff and being busy every single day and not making any money, okay, 3 months passed, you haven't made a single dollar, right? I mean, there's only a matter of time till it's going to start costing you what you have, right? Because you can't pay the bills, or you can't, if you don't have a job or whatever, you can't get by. So that is true to an extent. But the fast lane is get clients, and then find someone doing fulfillment already, just to get your feet get your feet wet, right? And then start educating yourself already when you have clients paying you. You're cutting into your margins a bit because you're fulfilling through another person and they're doing the work for you, but now you have money coming in, right? Rather than making maybe $1,000 a month that you would have made if you did fulfillment on your own, you might make $500 a month. But guess what? You've bought back how much of your time by doing it that route right now and making money at the same time, because your fulfillment for one client might take you, a week just to set up, or even 2 weeks if you've never done it before, versus you go straight to somebody doing it. They're like, okay, yeah, you bring me a client, I get them up and running in 72 hours. They'll be live. I just need access to this, and this. And so they give you that. And then you go out and get clients. You say, hey, we got this. This is our process. All we need is this, and this. We'll get you live within 72 hours. Let's freaking rock and roll. Right? Now, you got a client. You're leveraging this other person to do fulfillment for you. And a lot of the times, because you're bringing them a client, Sam, you can actually ask them, hey, by the way, guy, can I borrow some of your case studies to show my clients? Because I'm bringing you the clients. I just want to show them something that they can feel good about, so I can deal with the client management and all that part. Don't worry about that. I'll deal with that. Can I borrow your case study so I can show some of my network some of your results. And they're going to be okay with it. You know why, Sam? Because you're bringing them the client.
Right.
Okay, and now what have you done? You've accelerated the path to cash. Right? Because right now you're sitting here spinning your wheels, learning, making $0.
Right.
You see? How about you make some money, and while you're making money, learn. But at the same time, daily, focus on getting new clients. Right? Because you can always learn at midnight if you want. You see? People don't have to be awake to learn. But you want to make sure you're focusing on the right thing, because you don't want, time is at an essence here, right? So you want to make sure that you're focusing on, even though it's a bit scary to focus on prospecting before you got any sales or fulfillment set up in place, like you can make a post in one group and say, hey, if you have a niche, right, Sam, did you pick a niche yet?
Yes.
What's the niche?
It's going to be med spas.
Med spas, beautiful. That's Jordan's favorite niche. So you got med spas, right? You go into a group on Facebook and you literally say, hey, I'm looking for a fulfillment partner who works with med spas. Right? I'm looking for a fulfillment partner, right? Make a post. I guarantee you in the next hour, in the right group, you'd get 20 people posting, commenting, hey, I do, or PMing you, okay? And you're going to vet all of them. You're going to say, hey, what do you got? Who do you work with? What kind of results have you gotten? What can I propose to my clients? Because I'm just starting out. I want to focus on prospecting and sales to get some cash flowing, right? And I just want to leverage what you've got to show my clients so I can bring them to you and you do the work. Bam, and you got a business in a day. So from sitting there on YouTube University, which is probably the worst thing you could do, because you're going to go into rabbit hole against rabbit hole, right. And your entire day goes by, and then you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, and you do the same shit. Go back on YouTube University all day, and you're taking notes, you're just consuming, and taking zero action. And another day passes, and you go to sleep again, you do it again, you wake up again, you're doing the same shit. And what happens is you're paralyzed with information to the point where you don't even know what to do, what to start with, and where to begin. And you're telling yourself, oh, it's because I need to learn more. And you're in this cycle of just ongoing learning and no action. And that's when most people fail. And it's not your fault. It's just the understanding of what's happening.
Right.
And that's what I want to share with you. Right. So if you're in a position in your business, I'm not exactly sure what your scenario is, Sam. And I'm not going to assume, but if it's in a position of zero clients and you're trying to get your stuff moving, ball rolling,
right,
I would drop everything you're doing, find yourself a fulfillment partner in the industry you're wanting to tap into. This week, settle one in, put one in the books, as in like pick one. Okay, great. I like what you're doing. I like your process.
Right.
Let's see how this works. Let's see what pricing model can we work out. Okay, negotiate, right? Negotiate, because this could be a potential partner for you. Okay, so negotiate. What's a good rate for me to bring you clients, so I can get you some money going? And it's up to you. You can work with this guy for 5 clients, until you tell yourself, okay, I'm educated enough to do this on my own. And then that 6th client is Sam's client, not a partnered client. But now you have results from those other first 5 clients that you brought to your fulfillment partner. You can leverage those now. You say, hey, we worked with Johnny Doe's Spa last month. We got him, $67,000 in Botox injections or whatever, right? Now that's your case study. I mean, it is your client, isn't it?
Right.
Bam. Now you're in the game.
Right.
Okay? Now you just leverage that, and you go and get yourself a client, and you don't have to fulfill it through the partner. But that would be your 6th client, while your partner's fulfilling other 5, and now you're probably grossing about 5 to 10K per month without lifting a finger, giving you enough leverage to educate yourself. But forget YouTube University. It gives you enough leverage to pay an expert to get you there fast. Okay? Forget YouTube University, okay? Get there quick and stop guessing. Because now you have leverage. Now you pay an expert. This is what you got to do, Sam. This is what you're not supposed to do. This is what you shouldn't focus on. Bam, 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 bam. and you freaking hit your goals. If it's 100K a year, you hit that like nothing, because now you in your gut know what you need to do. No guessing anymore. So take the fast lane, make sure you focus on the right things, right? And then ascend ethically through this path of, you know, if you don't have results, okay, perfect. Leverage somebody else's. Right. Go make some money. Now you got your foot in the door, you got your feet wet. It's like doing an internship, kind of. Think about it like that. You know, you want to learn the skill set, intern. But in this case, this is a paid intern, because you're their point of contact. So you're knowledgeable enough to be their point of contact, and you're knowledgeable enough to request X, Y, and Z from the client so that they can get the work started. I mean, it's not rocket science. You see what I mean? So that's all it takes, right? I think we see some, I have some comments. Linda's saying, so do you have recommendations for reliable fulfillment agencies? So we do SEO. Funnelbolt does SEO. So if you guys have any clients that does SEO, we can help you with that. But what we're doing, guys, in the near future is, you know, aside from, you know, obviously giving you the best recommendation possible, we're going to be rolling out what's called a Rolodex of trusted vendors. And what that means is that we're going to vet, qualify, and make sure that the vendors that we recommend you guys to are guaranteed to be the best of the best in that industry. And we're not talking about, and we're not going to put our names behind a white label company that says that you do everything and everything under the sun. Okay, we're going to be the company that says, hey, well, no, we can't work with that type of industry because we don't have experience in that. So, you know, the way we think about it is, if we've never done it, if we haven't gotten results with it, we're not going to sell it to anybody. We're not going to recommend anybody to use it, okay? Because that's our reputation on the line. So this is a work in progress. Right now, development is our priority, but that Rolodex is going to be a place where you guys can access and actually go through these trusted, vetted fulfillment partners. A lot of them might even be interviewed in the group, so you guys can kind of get to know them a bit more before working with them and things like that. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's to really set you guys up for success and provide you a complete solution, because our priority at Funnelbolt is back end, follow-up, automation, production, things like that. Lead gen aren't what we're putting our names behind, because, you know, we want to make sure that we put you with an expert in their field, in that industry, that can guarantee, you know, results and you guys are going to be super happy with, especially if you're starting out, because that's your name on the line. And then that's what we're rolling out. So that was a great question.
Yeah, that's the best.
What's going on, Tom?
Good. Yeah,
Jordan?
I was gonna say, like, that's especially if you're new, like, that's the best way to get started, and that's something that, like, I wish when I first started, like, I was doing sales, I was trying to do fulfillment, and, like, you try to do all of these things, and, like, the reality of it is, like, you can do it, but there's a cap. And so, like, number one, there's a learning curve. So you're either going to pay somebody that's going to show you exactly how to do this stuff, or you're going to pay in that you're going to sell the client, and then you're not going to be able to fulfill them because you just aren't experienced in fulfilling and doing it well. So you're going to pay in lost trust. You're going to pay in, you know, that recurring.
It all comes down to retention. Like, what's better off? I mean,
yeah. So
closing a client yourself when you've never done it, right? You got the money, good for you. Ring the bomb, the gong, right? Bam, okay. And then you keep them for half a month because halfway through the month you spent like $400 and you haven't gotten a single lead. I've seen that happen so many times. Where you got someone new, closes a client, and they jump in the Facebook group $500 deep in the hole. They're like, hey, is there something wrong with my copy? and it's $500 later, like, dude, like, it took you $500 to think about your copy. Like, you could have did that $400 ago. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, what's better? Doing that and then having to explain to your client that you just told that you're supposedly a specialist in this thing, right? That's how you got their money, and you couldn't even keep them for 14 days before they're requesting a refund or a chargeback, because it's like, dude, you're wasting my money and my time.
Yeah.
Or option number two, what Jordan was saying, Go leverage someone else's results that knows what they're doing, has their onboarding process streamlined, has their fulfillment streamlined, can get you up and running here within 48 to 72 hours, and you can leverage their case studies and their best clients' results. And all you got to do is a nice hot lateral pass, and you're like, hey, I'm your point of contact. My name is Sam. I'm your man. If you have any questions about anything fulfillment-wise, customer service-wise, I'm your man. I deal with fulfillment. I make sure everything runs smoothly. I'll be sure you get access to everything. I'll be sure you got all your answers to your questions. And let's rock this thing.
Yeah. Well, and think too your price model. Like, so if you don't understand exactly how the fulfillment is going to go, like what value are you selling to your client? So it's like, well, I'll get you on a trial. Just send me like $250. And we'll do this trial, and if you like it, great. We'll keep going. And what are you spending right now in advertising? Oh, $2,500 a month. Okay, cool. Well, let's try it $250 and then go from there. Good chance it's probably not going to work out. Number one, and two, like you don't have the like you don't know what value you're bringing. But like when you do have someone that's like, look, I know for every $100 that I spend, I'm going to generate 20 leads and 6 of them are going to convert to paying clients. Then you can reverse engineer that math to your client and say, look, for every $100 you spend, you're going to generate this many customers, which is then going to translate to X in profit. Therefore, the value that I'm bringing to you is not, $500 a month that I was hoping to maybe get out of you. It's actually closer to like $3,500 a month, because when you're paying me $3,500 and I'm spending $1,500 in ads, $5,000 a month that you're paying in marketing, essentially, you're generating $15K in revenue. Like you can reverse engineer that math when you know the numbers. And the best way, like when you're first getting started, my opinion and what we've been talking about this entire time, is like find somebody that's got the numbers that you can confidently sell results to, and that's, you're going to be getting more, like, so you can confidently sell. You're going to have reviews, and like it's just going to give you the confidence to go get the next one and go get the next one and go get the next one. But when you don't know the numbers and you're kind of guessing on like, hey, let's just give this a trial shot or whatever, when it doesn't work out, you're going to think to yourself, med spas aren't for me. I need to go find another niche.
So
that's the worst thing you can do.
In a nutshell, the numbers are what closes the deal every time.
100%.
Logistics. It's like, okay, I give you $1, or you give me $1, I give you $3. Right? What? I mean, you can be drunk and still know that that's a good deal. Right? It's like, what idiot wouldn't know that if I get $3 for every dollar I give you, like, I could be half dead and still give you all my money, okay? Because it's like, it's a no-brainer, right? So using that math, that psychology, when you're closing deals, right, when you're selling or guiding someone to buy from you, it's like, okay, look, dude, worst case scenario, this happens, this is what you make.
Yep.
And that worst case scenario is typically talking about their closing percentage. Worst case scenario, your closing percentage is 10%. That's like the bottom of the barrel, okay? And I send you, 30 opportunities this month, okay? 10% of that is 3 deals, and you make, Sam, you told me $2,500 a deal, okay? Worst case scenario, okay, how much are you making? $7,500, and you paid me $2,000. Shit. I mean, numbers don't lie, right? Numbers don't lie, and so you use that to your advantage, right? And then that's where the case studies come in. You say, hey, and this is where you would ask your fulfillment team, hey, give me a client you got results for. What kind of results can I share with my other clients? Oh, we've got Joe and Don med spa, $67,000 worth of acupuncture clients in the last 30 days. Oh, perfect. Okay, great. So now you go over to your other client. It's like, hey, by the way, not only will you only pay me $2,000 to make $7,500 worst case scenario, just last month for Johnny Doe Med Spa, we generated him $67,000 in the last 30 days, and he only paid us $2,000. I'd love to do the same for you. You'd be an idiot to not say, let's do it.
So which groups are we looking for that?
So you talking about fulfillment partners?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to drop any specific names in the group. If you want, Sam, shoot me a DM afterwards, and I'll give you some pointers there. But, I mean, any marketing group, even ClickFunnels. Everyone here is, I'm sure, is in ClickFunnels group. If you make a ClickFunnels post in that group, and you say, hey, I'm looking for a fulfillment partner that does med spa, okay? You're going to get at least 50 comments, and your inbox is going to literally just get blown up. So be prepared for that, but it's a good problem to have if you don't have a fulfillment partner. Right? And it's the opportunity to give someone else who might not have the prospecting and sales ability that you do to work with you, and it becomes a win-win scenario for both of you, at least temporarily, until you get your feet on the ground and you can do your own fulfillment.
Yeah. Right. Just ask for verification on, like, hey, how much per month are you spending on
Yeah, and I would do this, Sam, over a call, like we are on Zoom. Interview them over a Zoom call. Because when someone looks like on a profile and says on a profile is not the same, you ask them to jump on a call like this.
And have them go through their funnel and like the whole thing. That way, when your clients are asking, like, how does this work? Like, what's kind of the process? You don't want to get into the weeds of like all of that stuff when you're on a sales call, but you can confidently say, like, look, this is why we produce quality, because they go through this screening process.
And a specialist, by the way, Sam, would have absolutely no problem proving themselves.
Yep.
It's like, look, Sam, look at what I got. Bam, 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 bam.
They should be excited to give it to you.
They'll blow your mind. They'll blow your mind with results because they know what they can do and they got no shame. Now, if you got someone who's like, yeah, I'm a specialist, but they can't show you anything, now there's a red flag, right? Because, like, you don't have to show me the names of the clients. Just show me something. Show me results. Like, if you've been doing this for so long, you should have at least something to show me. You can't just tell me, oh, there's nothing, we can't show you anything. It's like, okay, well, not a problem. You're not a good fit for me, right? Move on to the next one. You know how many fulfillment partners there are? Like, it's insane. That's why we're not in that game, because it's just like there's no point. There's so many other people that are just 100 times better than us that don't do what we're doing with Funnelbolt, that, hey, it's a win-win. We'll just connect you guys with them and you would use the software for follow-up and automation and appointment setting, and we're all happy. You're happy, we're happy, they're happy. So it becomes an ecosystem, right? Right. And everyone's focused on their strengths, and that's really what it all comes down to. Yeah. Tom says, I was learning for 5 years, didn't make 10 cents, man. Tom, I think you and the rest of the world watching this video can relate to you, at least when they were starting out, for sure. YouTube University is dangerous if you don't know what you're looking at. Linda says, I'm in the same spot. I tried this and got burned by a vendor that had no clue. Yeah, Linda. And this happens a lot. You know why? Because you don't know what you're looking for. You don't know what questions to ask. You don't know what to qualify somebody with. Like, you don't know what you don't know. You can't escape a prison you don't know you're in. You see? And the problem is that that's the case that you're in. You need to ask for help. You need to get clarity, because you're going to continue to burn yourself if you don't know what you don't know. And the problem is you got to ask these vendors that you're looking to do fulfillment with these hard questions. And the hard questions are questions that they should have answers to if they are truly a good fulfillment partner, right? And that's what you have to do. You got to put your foot down, right? Because this is your reputation. And now whoever you did work for, right, whoever paid you and exchanged money with you, doesn't feel too good about hiring Linda right now, right? Because now they got burned. You didn't just get burned, they got burned. They actually lost money. You probably didn't lose any money because they paid you and you paid them. So you actually came out winning, but your reputation doesn't look too good. So you want to make up for yourself by finding someone who you can trust, potentially do an actual partnership with them, not just hiring them as a contractor, literally bringing them into your business, setting an agreement on paper, not equity wise, I'm not talking about equity, but just an internal partnership you can do with these fulfillment teams that says, hey, you're going to work internally with me, and this is how much I'm going to give you for every client that I bring you, and this is the agreement that we're going to do and negotiate moving forward for every future client that comes under this brand, right? If you name yourself Linda, for example, Linda, you can unmute yourself. What industry are you going after, Linda?
We're doing dentists right now and medical clinics, but I'm not so crazy about the dentists because everyone goes in there, so we're just trying to figure out our niche.
Okay, so let's just pretend, let's say medical or med spa is niche, because it seems like that's the popular one right now on this call. Med spa, if your brand, Linda, is Linda Med Spa Marketing, for example, or Med Spa Accelerator, whatever. You name it something unique, right, to you. And you tell yourself, okay, I want to go after this niche, but I can't do fulfillment myself. So you would go into the groups method, like I mentioned, and you're going to go find a fulfillment partner. You're literally going to type in a couple words. You're going to say, I am looking for a fulfillment partner in this niche. Done. Comment or PM me if you serve this niche, and you can prove it. And you're going to make that post. You can make that post across 2 or 3 different groups if you want. Guaranteed, if you post it in the right group, you're going to have answers within literally 5 minutes. And now you have people you can interview. Now what you're going to do, Linda and Sam, is you're not going to just work with anybody. You're going to take all the time you have right now in YouTube University and focus on interviewing these people, because that's going to move the needle once you can get that settled. And you're going to find these people, you're going to interview them, you're going to say, hey, I'm actually looking for a fulfillment partner, not a contractor, a partner I can work with exclusively, so that I can bring them clients exclusively, and I can focus on prospecting and sales, and you do the fulfillment, right? So I'm looking for a partner, not just this one-off thing. I just don't have the one client. I'm actually looking to bring you consistent clients, because I want to focus on prospecting and sales, so I can bring in the cash, bring you cash, and actually pay my bills, so that I can focus on the other things that I want to do. Like YouTube University, to learn my own fulfillment, but you're not going to tell them that because it's not their problem. You could be learning how to kayak if you want. That's what you're doing, right? At the end of the day, you use their leverage to do a partnership win-win scenario, and what you're going to say is, hey, fulfillment partner, I'm looking to do this as a partnership where I put you under an agreement in my company, under my brand, Linda Med Spa Marketing, and under paper, we're going to sign off that every client that I bring under this brand, I'm going to give you this percentage of revenue from that client, and I'm going to keep this other percentage of revenue. My roles are going to be client communication, onboarding, and customer service. Your role is going to be operations and fulfillment.
I have a
That's
question. So you don't pay them monthly? I know I spoke to an FPL company recently, and they were saying it's a monthly fee. So do you go about it monthly, or you go about how do you go about structuring the fee?
Great question. So this partnership I'm talking about is more so going to work with an individual versus an agency. You're talking to an agency, meaning a commercialized operation that has probably tons of employees. They're never going to negotiate a deal like I'm saying right now, because they're too big. There's no point. There's no point to work exclusively with Linda when they have hundreds of other people buying their stuff, right? What I'm talking about is a guy who really knows what he's doing. If it's Facebook ads, right, or whatever it is, there are individual companies like you and me, right? So Funnelbolt actually kind of falls more so in the commercial side of things, but if you're looking at, let's say, for example, hiring Jordan as an individual, right? Jordan has an agency, I have an agency, we all have individual agencies. If you were to hire us individually, right, we'd be able to work out a partnership like that, because we're individual. Like, you're working on a one-to-one level versus a one-to-many agency level, where they're going through so it's like working with a franchise, right? If you're working with a big franchise like Wendy's or something, they can't just call their shots however they want. They have to go through ranks and get approvals upon approvals to implement anything new. And so those are commercial. Like, it's so hard to tap into those. Versus you go to the mom and pop sandwich shop that's ran by a mom and pop, they'll be like, Yeah, Linda, sounds great. We haven't worked, that this sounds like an amazing partnership that we can do together. I would love to negotiate this and that, or whatever. Or an individual agency, right, who doesn't have this commercial operation and may not have a ton of employees. And that's where you come in. And so you can say, hey, I'll handle the prospecting, you do the fulfillment. Let's work an arrangement out between me and you, and they can negotiate that deal with you where you're saying, I get you clients, you're going to charge me this, I'm going to keep that, my roles are this, your roles are that, sign here, and let's get this to rock. Let's rock and roll. I'll start Monday. But it's contingent on you being able to also use their case studies. It's like, hey, if we do this partnership, I want to be able to show my clients your results so that they can trust me to give me their money. And then I bring you the client. And it's a win-win because I'll do the customer service, I'll onboard them, I'll answer all their questions, make sure they're taken care of. You just make sure the fulfillment is done. You can, if their ads need to be scaled, you do that, whatever the deal is. Creatives, landing pages, you do all that. That's you, not me. I don't touch all that. Shoot, and if you need to give them access to Funnelbolt, great. Have them build a landing page in there.
So one more
Whatever the
question.
deal. Yeah.
What if that person drives is dead, then you're back to square one?
So I wouldn't think about it like that. So many things can happen, right? And the reason most people don't take action is because they're thinking of the what ifs. What ifs, what ifs. You have to take risks. Entrepreneurs, that's what it's all about. Me and Jordan took a risk on each other to partner up in Funnelbolt. You want to hear something crazy, guys? Me and Jordan and Zach have never met in person. You know how crazy that is? And we're literally partners in this company. Okay? And so what that means is that you got to take risks. And look at where we're at right now. You know what I mean? Like, you have to take risks. And the risk that's the reason you're doing that qualification. That's the reason you're doing that interview. Because you're really just trying to find if you can trust the person. That's really all it comes down to, right? When Jordan brought me on into the Funnelbolt company, right? I had my own things going on, but they interviewed me, right? It was an interview, right? It was a different type of interview, but it was an interview at all. And it was to see if they could trust me, seeing what my case studies were, seeing what I was capable of, right? And all these things. And so there was enough there to bring me on without actually meeting me in person. You see, and so that's the same concept with fulfillment partners, right? And any kind of partnership that you do, it's just a matter of trust, right? If you get on a call with somebody and you feel like, one, they can talk the talk, not only talk the talk, but walk the walk because they're showing it to you, okay? Two, you can tell in their voice that they're confident in what they're saying and what they're doing, okay? Because body language is a thing, okay? If I wasn't confident in what I'm saying right now, I'd probably be talking in a lot lower tone and probably stuttering and saying the word a lot, right? But this is ingrained in me, right? This is proven stuff. So what happens is that now you build trust with this individual. Now you're going to take a risk, and guess what, Linda? It's not a risk you're going to take in concrete yourself. You're not marrying the person because the agreement is contingent on them doing their part and you doing yours. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work out for you, guess what? The contract is null. You're not going to bring them any more clients. And you're just going to go find somebody else. And you're going to tell the client, let's say you just brought on one client. I would just start with one. Give them a shot. See how it goes. I wouldn't bring them 5 clients in 1 week. Bring them 1. You have 0 now. Get the fulfillment partner. Go get 1. Now you have trust that you have something to fulfill, right? And then work that out, see how that flow goes. And within 2, 3, 4 days, you'll know how this experience is going to be for the rest of the part. You see, you're going to know how if their 72-hour onboarding is on point or not. You're going to know if their setup process is what you think is up to standards for you. Like, there's a lot of things you're going to see within that very short period of time, which you're going to know for a fact. Oh, I like this person. I like to work with this person. I can see myself really working with this person for a period of time, temporarily, at least until I get my feet wet, right? And then, bam, right?